We all remember first, Jamarr was the first 83 kilo lifter to squat 700 pounds. Jamarr, 351. If I had to bet, I think he's going to make the correction to make this happen. That's surprising.
Yeah, I am surprised to see that. Not here today, but something that we know will be there in his future. He's squat more than that before. There's still a long day left to go for Jamarr. Unfortunately, not there today.
Have you ever been punched in your motherfucking face? What you say? Oh, you haven't? Alright, wait, bitch! 2-phone baby king, fucking me. I am here, ho, ice cream, booger, color, piss, Sub-Zero.
That's right, 800 pounds getting loaded on the bar. Please. Insane 800-pound squat. They set themselves up for a mean total with 320 keys getting ready to be loaded. $705. Jamarr Royster, the bar is loaded!
Jamarr, where's your Cuban at?
Please make some noise for Jamarr Royster. He deserves this right here. What a veteran in this sport. Up next.
Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jamarr Royster and I am the best squatter in the world, pound for pound. And I proved that in my last meet. Now, this was by far the best performance of my career. And before this was my 2022 run when I had, peaked into 93, 90, and then went back down to 83 kilos, where I became the #2 all-time 83 kg lifter in the world at the time. And Since then, I've had some ups, some downs, some peaks, some valleys, and moved up to the 93 weight class and really just tried to fill that out as best as I can to have to have a performance like I just did. Now, with that being said, a lot led to this moment. A lot of peaks, valleys, a lot of setbacks, hardships, and just the culmination of years of work that really just led to this moment. So let's go ahead and just get into it. So there's no surprise that the squat has always been somewhat tied to my powerlifting identity. Not that I tied myself to it, but I'm just an amazing squatter, and I know that, and people know that. So it's always been said that I had the potential to be one of the best squatters in the world if I could figure it all out, or that some people would already proclaim that I was the best squatter in the world, pound for pound. I never said that about myself until the idea that I could squat 800 became a reality. So I thought my moment in powerlifting, which it was, and it was for a very long time until just recently, was my 700 squat at 83 kilos. And it was 701 pounds, and that moment just felt so surreal. It was like, oh my God, wow, I absolutely set a goal and crushed it. But this moment, when I squatted 800 pounds, it felt different. It was historic, I know that, but it feels somewhat like legacy to me. Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about squats, man. I just wanted to make sure I said my piece. Let's go ahead and get into squats and get into this opener. So the way I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna be watching this from the live stream while talking to you guys. I'll try to make this as quick as possible. What's crazy is that with this squat, most people always think I open up really heavy, but it's relative, right? I'm a big squatter. This is my lift. So 733 is really not that heavy as an opener for me. The heaviest I've ever opened at 93 was 744 pounds at SBD Raleigh. I think people tend to forget that. And I took a smaller jump and then a bigger jump after that. I don't take big jumps. I know team craftsmanship is known for big jumps, but I actually don't take massive jumps. I don't believe that works well for me. Probably could have on my deadlifts, which we'll get to, but I don't genuinely take that big of a jumps. But this opener was everything for me here, man. This is, it sets the tone for the day. It truly does. But something I told myself was to make sure I stay calm for the most part. You know, do the same setup, the same everything, but just try to stay a little calm until we get after that second attempt, so then we can kind of build the hype and just go from there. But I don't want to ever get too ahead of myself. So I try to like keep it, you know, fairly neutral for the most part. So I know on the second attempt, Tim had mentioned that I had depth issues. I've never had depth issues. I've never missed a squat on depth ever. But Tim came right after squats were completely done and was super, super apologetic. I was like, hey, you know, this is how live works. Sometimes I apologize. I didn't mean any of that. I didn't know. He didn't say I didn't mean any of that. But he was like, I didn't, you know, I was uninformed. And he made a mistake, and we hashed it out, we talked it out, and was like, hey, yo, bro, I'm cool. I appreciate you. You know, he went into bench and just apologized and told everyone, hey, he made a mistake. I wasn't really mad or upset about it, but that's kind of been what I felt like my career in powerlifting was. It's just misinformation about my weight, misinformation about, you know, my training, misinformation about everything, when for the most part, I think I'm pretty transparent and put everything out there, especially on my YouTube channel. Like if you watch this YouTube channel, you're going to see everything for the most part. And if you don't know, just ask. I'm not hiding anything. My training this time around was not that great, except that one block I had, which for those of you who watch this mini series, you would know. Back to the squats. So the 760 squat, man, this was the squat that would have told us what the day was going to hold for the day. It was either going to move well or it was going to move slow, and we just had to figure that out. So, and I knew that too going into it, but I stayed calm, I stayed patient. I remember every time before I get under the bar, I take a moment and I breathe and I relax and I go right through my cadences, right? This one I actually was a little unstable because I didn't let the weight settle. As soon as I lifted it off the rack, I walked straight back. However, I gathered myself and we just got the squat, and I knew I was on after that. So I got real hype. It was 3 white lights. There was nothing wrong with it. And I just told Marcellus, load it. Like, you know what we came here to do? Load it. Now, mind you, I say, you know what we came here to do? The top end range was 770 something, 771 to 800, 804. So initially, the third attempt we had planned 804 pounds. At this meeting, we were told we could break the American records. So we lowered that to 800 even, because I think the attempt selection The temp selection before that is 799 and 804. So we're gonna do like 804. We lowered it to 800 because we could chip it. So what people keep saying is like, oh, he broke the unofficial world record, which is true, but also I think people forget SPD Raleigh. I squatted 788 pounds. That was over the world record at the time and still over the current world record right now. I'm running around here in the world talking about an unofficial world record. I'm just like, yeah, I'm setting an American record, on to the next. He broke Russ's record unofficially. I'm like, well, my 788 was already above that. So I'm out here looking at the number. I'm out here looking at what I'm doing and trying to be better than what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is already better than the current world record and before that world record. So I'm not looking and I'm not comparing myself to those people. I'm comparing myself to myself and the potential that I have. I know how great I am, and I'm not out here chasing or following anyone. I'm doing what I need to do to be the best squatter in the world, and I cemented that. So third squat. Something I take pride in is actually closing the flight as a squatter, as a lightweight squatter too, technically. So as a 93, I love being able to close a flight. When I'm not able to close a flight during squats, I actually get pretty pissed. That's my thing. So when it comes to this third squat, we knew we loaded 800. I knew we loaded 800. I told him we chipped it. It was already planned. But when it comes to this squat, I didn't get too ahead of myself. Marcellus did give me a really great tip, because he also saw that I got ahead of myself on that second attempt. I told him, thank you for acknowledging it and saying something. But he was like, I'm a very coachable athlete in the moment. So he was like, when you lift it off, when you unrack, just be a little bit more patient. Let the bar and weight settle, and then do your walkout, which is all I needed to hear, because I absolutely agreed with him. I was like, yeah, that was a good look. Which once I did that, and once I started to do my little swing, yeah, we know what it is. Like, I'm on. So I actually screamed, and I didn't scream. I yelled. I just yelled, "Come on," or something like that. I don't know, man. I was calm. I was poised. I was in my bag. I truly was. Like, the weight didn't get too ahead of me. I knew what it felt like. I knew it was going to feel like. I've done this time and time again. So I was like, I just need to execute. And we did that. I just couldn't be more proud of myself, man. Truly. This was 3 white lights, undeniable. I never want an attempt that I have to be in question ever. So that's why I said I am the standard. It's not because I'm cocky or anything like that. It's just that I know the standard I've set for myself, and I'll do nothing less than that. So when I say I'm the standard, it's because I've had a historic run with pushing these boundaries and these barriers, but also doing it with such proficiency. Things to note real quick, and this is some information that you guys may not know about me, but usually during meets, like over the last few years, I usually don't use my headphones as often, or I don't really listen to music when I'm competing or when I'm training in the back, getting ready to compete, just because I love hearing people talk. I love hearing the crowd. I love hearing, the weights. I love being immersed in the environment, and I love listening and being a part of that. That has been ongoing for years for me. This meet was different. Like, my energy was different, my vibe was different this entire meet, but I was so calm and poised. I never got ahead of myself in terms of thoughts and actions. I stayed in each moment as it is, and I honored myself in each moment. But I did put on headphones this entire meet. I was listening to one song and one song only. And for those of you who have been following and, have been tapped in, what song that was. And that was Word on My Shoulder. And maybe I'll get into it later and why that means so much to me and why I love that song and why that song hits so hard for me. Oh my God, man, I love it. But we'll go ahead and just run through bench real quick. This is the heaviest I've ever opened for bench. Now, if you know anything about squatting really heavy, if you're in that ballpark where you have a heavy squat, it starts to tax you the rest of the day. So maintaining that energy all throughout the day, it's very difficult. So this is the heaviest I've ever for bench, which I was absolutely like, I don't know how this is gonna go. I legit thought about lowering it, but this moved so good. So I was like, okay, we're good. I already knew we're gonna match my best, but let's get into the second one real quick. So the second attempt bench, I knew what it was. Like, I was very aware of the numbers, and I knew this was my best. And I knew that if I hit this and we secure it, then I'll have a PR if I have any more room in the tank after that. When I got it, I could just tell, like, I was not 100% peaked for bench. I was strong, but not strong enough, if that makes any sense. So 446 moves pretty well. And after that, I knew 310 or 462 pounds wasn't in the tank for the day. Like, I knew it. I got off the platform at the 446 and told Marcellus, like, hey, I'm not 100% on bench right now, and I know that, so let's take the low end of what we had planned, which was 452 pounds. So the third attempt, I was able to get it. It was a fight. That was the top end for the day. It was true to the top end, and I'm glad we took it. I'm glad that we didn't go any heavier than that, and I'm glad I was just honest about how I was feeling. I was like, yeah, it's not there today, and I knew that. But I'm just so proud that I was able to PR my bench. Anytime I'm able to PR my bench, it's a good day. Like, I love that. And 452 pounds, I'm halfway to 500 on the platform. So I got off, and I remember saying, I'm on today. Like, today's my day, or something like that to Marcel. So we go in the back room, and we just get ready for deadlifts. But I will say, this is where I start cramping up. So I really start cramping in my hands. I immediately run over to Peter. I'm like, bro, I'm cramping. Tell me what I need to do, because I know Peter has a lot of experience in this area, because he's had some meets where he's cramped up at. So he's understood what it takes to recover from that in time for deadlifts. Mind you, this meet was extremely fast, so there wasn't a lot of time to do a lot of things. So he immediately started like going through a routine of like, all right, drink this much water, drink this water, this, and he would give me, like, he would pass it on to me. Like, shout out to Petrie, he handled that so well, because Marcellus was working around with other clients, because obviously Marcellus has a lot of clients who are competing typically at meets and at a high level. So he can't be in two places at one time, which is why I shout out to Petrie for being able to be there to give me what I need in the time. So he definitely was like, you need more water, you're not drinking enough, da da da. So we got that situated. And even before I was going out on the platform, I was still drinking water, which, hey, to my surprise, your boy stopped cramping. It was insane. My fingers were like locked up. They would not, like, they literally would not move. It was bad. So he helped me so much there. So shout out to Petrie. So we get to deadlifts, and as you all know, deadlifts is not my specialty. It's something that I've been struggling with for the last 8 years of my career, after I had a severe injury that really took me out for a long time. But if this meet said anything, it said that I have the potential to be one of the best 93 kgs in the world, especially with my deadlift coming up where it is. And so the opener for deadlifts, absolutely smoke show. Mind you, it was only like 628, but still, just it's the fluidity and how it moved. From there, we go to that second attempt, which was, I believe, 672. I thought it was gonna be 661 for some reason, so when I heard 672, I was like, don't think about it, just pull it. I'm sorry about that. I don't really think too much about the movement. I just make sure my hips are in the right position and they feel comfortable. That's all I thought about for the day. I didn't think about anything else other than that, and also making sure my head and neck was a little bit more up than neutral, because that has been a key in changing how my deadlift positioning has been and how the deadlifts have moved. However, in training, regardless of positioning, regardless of anything, it just was not there. And then the moment 672 flew off the ground, I looked at Marcellus, was like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on today, but we were on. I can tell you right now, it's because 330 was not in the game plan. 330 was not even assumed that it was going to be there for the day. And Marcellus also knows me as a lifter. He knows I want to maximize, because the first thing I always say is, the first thing he always says is, what are your goals for this meet? And I'll tell him, and I always usually say my overall goal is to do better than my last meet. That's always the first thing I say. Do better than my last meet. Get the most out of my squats. If 800 is there, get the most out of my squats. But if 800 is there, we take it. And let's PR on a total. That's always doing better than my last, but it's re-emphasizing that I want more than anything in the world to just continue to progress and to see that progression on paper from a meet standpoint. There's nothing to be had in looking in the past and going like, oh, I wish I would have, I should have. It's all lessons and things that we learn. But as an athlete, I've said this to everyone, and it was like, oh, why don't you a little more? Oh, it was so easy. I was like, well, you're not in my training. You don't know how things are moving. You don't know how things are going. And historically, my deadlifts never go that well, especially if I squat extremely heavy. I tend to tink, and my deadlifts become even harder at the end of the meet. We don't have any, what we've done these last few months, or since April, has been a game changer. Literally, we can see that. But I've been telling everybody, as an athlete, me, as the athlete, I have to do better in training. I have to continue to work hard in training. I have to learn more. I have to provide more top-end data to support what we're able to do. And also, if we can replicate this type of performance, I need more training to understand what that looks like. Because, as I said, I really literally said in my stories, I unfucked my deadlift a few weeks before the meet. I literally said that. And I was not kidding. Like, I kind of have some things figured out. But again, I need more data to support that, which means I need more training time. Well, since we're on it, let's go ahead and talk about Nationals. That Nationals is coming up. I know in my last video I talked about Nationals being in March, me knowing that, blase, blase, blase. With that being said, I have verbally stated that I'm not doing Nationals next year. It has a little bit to do with it being the timing, but not really. Mostly because, like, my entire powerlifting career, I've been fighting for podium spots. I've been fighting to stay in the top 5, top 10 of my weight class in the last like 9.5 years or so, or the last 9 years. It's been almost a decade. I know that for a fact. You know, I've been at the top of my game for a long time. I haven't been number one in the game the entire time, but that first half of my career, I was definitely top 3 in my classes and stuff. And then the later half of those years, I've kind of like fallen into that mid of the pack. And I've gotten to a point after this past meet, seeing what I was capable of doing, turning 35 soon and still being one of the top dogs in the class. I truly had a conversation with myself, and I said, I'm tired of losing. And it's not that I'm losing, but if we're looking at it like objectively, I'm not placing top 3. So what's that mean? That means I'm losing. Right? And I'm tired of losing. And it's not that like, oh, I'm tired of losing. It's like, I want to win. The will to win is so much stronger than the will to compete at the moment. And I love competing. If you know me, I absolutely love competing. I love just going out there and performing and having a good time. But something switched at this meet, where usually it's like, oh yeah, such a great meet, can't wait to do the next one because I got to put up another total just like this. And no, I was like, no, I'm tired, bro. I'm not doing this meet. I need to get stronger. I've seen what my deadlifts are capable of doing, but I don't think I have time from now to Nationals to get what I need to get in order to be a dominant force in this weight class. So I'm at that point where I want to win, and my will to win is stronger than my will to compete at the moment. And by that doesn't mean I'm never going to compete. That means that I want to take this next year to just train and get as strong as possible. But I also know that with the time that I had going into this meet, the time I had training was was not optimal at all. So what I was able to do with the limited time I had to train, to get stronger, it was absolutely insane. So if I can give myself about a year or so to just go back into the lab, we work some things, figure out some things, because at the end of the day, we're high-level competitors. We feel an obligation, or at least I know I feel an obligation, not just only to myself, but to the audience, the fans of this growing sport, to continue to put on a show whenever we have people go to Nationals, because they want to see a lot of us go head-to-head, tit-for-tat, things like that. However, I need to do myself a favor, because I want to win. One of my goals in powerlifting when I first came into the sport was to become the best squatter in the world. And I said that because I already had a massive squat coming into this sport. So I knew there was potential there. People would be in such awe whenever I squatted. Back in like 2016, 2017. So I already knew I had a big squat. So I was like, why not maximize that? I've gotten rid of that idea that like you need a bigger squat, your deadlift need to be bigger than your squat. I was like, no, I'm gonna maximize where I'm great at. I was never a big deadlifter. I barely deadlifted my entire life. So that's a place, that's an area of growth, and I'm growing in those areas. My bench has come up a long way and has been the most consistent of my lifts. After being the best squat in the world, you know, a few years into it, I was like, dang, you can only get a USA singlet by going to Worlds. I want to go to Worlds. I wanted to go to Worlds because I wanted the USA singlet. I collect these things like the Infinity Stone. It's an addiction. It's crazy. I have an addiction with collecting SBD singlets, and SBD everything. But I want a USA singlet. In order to get that, I need to go to Worlds. I also want a world record. I'm tired of it being unofficial. I want to get on the world stage and put up a massive squat that will last the test of time. And I know I have the capabilities of doing that, but throwing myself in the fire constantly isn't a bad thing. But at some point, I need to allow myself to grow again, and constantly put myself in conditions to be in a constant state of training for a short period of time, and then we're in meet prep. And when I say training, I mean I don't really have any off seasons, and then we're in meet prep. And not only we're in meet prep, something always happens where I tweak something, I hurt something, and that happens. And then we're now in this injury prevention going into the meet, or trying to like prevent anything else getting through the meet. And then after that, we're like trying to recover from all of that. Then we go right back into a short period of training. Then we go right back into, then I go right back into meet prep. And it's just a constant cycle, a vicious cycle. And I'm like, Jamarr, at some point you got to want more for yourself. And wanting more for yourself isn't doing more. It's taking time to remove yourself from certain situations that keep putting you in these situations, and to build and get stronger. I need a stronger back, right? I need a stronger deadlift. If I want to be in contention to be the best 893 lifter, I need to allow myself time to do that, which I will. And I think going forward, we're going throughout next year that is what I want to do, and I need to stick with that. Now, the Advances meet was such a huge, amazing experience for myself. I, at the time, had no idea it was going to be that massive in terms of like, you know, what they were trying to do. I just kind of did the meet or signed up for the meet because I knew I needed something to do. You guys know I've been going through a lot this year. This has been probably the toughest year of my life. And I'm a very goal-oriented person, so I know I needed to do something. I signed up for a meet prior, and then ended up I almost signed up for a meet prior, and then I'm going like, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing anything this year. And that's what I said to myself. And this came up, this was a good opportunity, and I was like, let's just take advantage of the opportunity that's presented right before me and figure it out. Even months before the meet started, I contemplated dropping out, because I was just like going through so much, and I was like, I'm not really training that well, and I don't have the most time to train. So it seemed like the right thing to do, and it probably could have been, but I'm thankful that I didn't. I'm thankful I stuck through it. I'm thankful that I had the turnout that I did, not knowing that it was going to be that. I actually didn't expect as big of a performance as I had. It was very giving that 2022, I'm done with 83, then I only won an 800 kg total, and then I like blow it out the water. So it's very much giving that, but this was an amazing experience from an athlete standpoint. Just looking at all the things that we got, I felt like a premier athlete. I felt like, a top grade athlete. Like I know that I am, but I felt it. You got these like custom shoes with the white and the red for Advances. You got, the socks to go with it. You got your own, like you guys seen the whole shebang. I don't have to keep saying things over and over, but you got all these things that really made you feel like a top level elite athlete, where I was like, damn, this is fire. This is dope. Like, you feel like you belong, and then you get all these things that also reinforce that you do belong on this same stage as everyone else. And then you go and have the performance you do, and you're just like, damn, I really did that. But with that, I want to say thank you, Advances, for putting on such an amazing meet. Everyone who was involved, from the commentators, spectators, the Advances, the entire Advances team. Shout out to you guys for doing everything. The photographers had an amazing time. I'm very thankful and blessed, and just couldn't be more honored to be a part of such an experience. I want to shout out my sponsors, SBD, and also Macro Factor app. Don't forget, use Pancakegawd for a 2-week free trial. SBD, the support links in the bio. So if you're buying anything SBD, that directly supports me. With all that being said, I want to thank you, my viewers, people who have been here through thick and thin, no matter what, have always supported me. I know that, I've been off here for, a period of time. I was just grieving and going through a lot. I just want to thank you guys so much for supporting me. I want to thank you guys so much for, being a part of this process. I felt like when I squatted 800, we all won. That's what it felt like to me. So shout out to you all. Shout out to you all for sticking around and sticking with me and being such a huge support for me. Then I'll end it here. I've gone on and on and on. Thank you guys for watching this meet recap with me. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.
I pray to God direct my steps on this path I'm going. Give me peace of mind so that I stay focused. Give me discipline so that I keep going. To the gym even when results ain't showing. Lord, give me the faith I need to move mountains. Give me financial freedom, know that there's no accountant that's more able than you. There's no problems on this earth greater than you. And if it's your will, then let me do everything that I was created to do. Help me change lives, like you changed minds, like you changed moms. How could I forget how you made a millionaire out of 15 cents? With $1 in a dream, wasn't always what it seemed. Sometimes